Ben McMillan is the founder and principal of IDG Architects Incorporated with at least 4 decades under his belt in the field of architecture. His resume extensive, from working on schools to public housing to places of worship, and he has 3 branches in his firm: Houston, Dallas, and right here at home in Peoria. Ben is joining us today to talk more about his background and his legacy. Ben, thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, I want to start off obviously with the big question. Let's talk about IDG. How did you found it? How was it created? And tell us a little bit about your story coming up to today.
Okay, well, IDG was founded as a spinoff from another firm that I started in 1985.
Okay.
And I left that firm and started IDG in 2001. And IDG stands for I Design for God, so that's the premise of our firm.
Ah.
And from there, it just blossomed to a big mega firm, if you want to call it that way.
Absolutely. And you know, with you being in multiple states here, I'm
Yes.
sure that the clientele varies in their requests, and I'm sure you've seen a broad range of projects too.
Yes, I have.
Absolutely. Have you any favorite projects that come to mind?
I think my favorite project would be, I love doing schools.
Yeah.
So that would be my forte. But I think I'm more proud of the project that we did here in Peoria with Fire Station number 4 over
Yes.
on Western Avenue.
Oh, a beautiful
So
building.
that's one of my favorite projects here in Peoria.
Oh, it's such a cool building. Every time I drive past that, I'm like, I think we need to just remodel all of our fire stations like that. It's just
Yeah.
so clean, so well updated. An amazing job there.
Sure.
I also want to make sure that I do draw attention to the fact that your firm is the only black-owned architecture firm in Central Illinois. What does that impact mean for you?
It means a lot to us, because we have an opportunity to showcase that we are architects and we do architecture real well. And we look forward to serving the community here in Central Illinois as well. I think one of our big accomplishments was that we just finished a couple of new middle schools, even farther south in Springfield, which
Wow.
opened up this year.
Oh, that's excellent.
Yes.
And I'm sure that you have plenty of things in the pipeline too. I mean, is this something that do you ever feel overwhelmed perhaps, or do you feel like, you know what, I'm ready to tackle every new thing that comes across my desk?
No, I don't feel overwhelmed at all, simply because architecture is my passion. I love it. If I didn't love it, I wouldn't still be in this profession of 40 years or so?
Absolutely,
Yes.
absolutely. Now, outside of the firm, you also do a lot of community work too. I wanted to talk first of all about your background in education. Tell me a little bit about what you've done in the classroom.
Okay, I started out, I graduated from HBCU, Prairie View A&M University
Yes.
in 1977. And about 3 years later, I went back and taught at my alma mater and recently retired about 2017. So I worked there almost 30 years.
Wow.
And it was an inspiration for me to teach upcoming and aspiring architects through those years. Even some of the students that I taught, I still keep up with them today, and they're doing exceptionally well.
Oh, I can imagine. How did it feel to return to the same classrooms that you probably sat in as a student?
It was exciting. I could relate to the students because I was really young at age at that time. So I was able to get students to draw to me, and then they drew from me my experience of being out in the field for at least about 3 years. So it took a lot, and I hear from students today say, Mr. McMillan, I'm glad I took your classes because what you taught us and what you told us is actually true.
Wow. How
Yes.
about that? I'm sure it has to be incredibly just confidence boosting to hear that
Oh,
from
yeah.
your students,
Yes.
for sure. And I also want to talk a little bit about, going on the theme of connection here, you also do some work with nonprofits. Tell me a little bit about what you do there.
Oh, in the nonprofits, most clients, they don't have money for architectural services. So what we've started within our office is we give away free services to a tune of say $10,000, $12,000 of architectural services to nonprofits.
Oh, wow.
And we do design work for them as well, because we know that they get money from being a nonprofit, so they can use that money that they would pay us to operate the nonprofit. So we like working with them because we get a chance to work with the community, and that gives them an inspiring deal to make the community feel like they're being uplifted in that regard.
Absolutely. Let's talk a little bit as well about your mentorships here. I know that you, obviously, you connect with people in so many different ways.
Yes.
I mean, when you team up, shall we say, with those who are under your tutelage there, what are some of the biggest themes you want them to take away?
Well, in the mentorships, we work with the high schools.
Okay.
You know, and we go and talk with high school seniors and stuff. But I think our real focus is trying to get the elementary school students involved at a very early age.
Sure.
Because in our profession, you know, it's 0.5% or less of minority, especially black architects that's registered here in the United States. So we would like to give them a different alternative. Instead of, you know, looking at sports all the time, is that, oh, you can be an architect, and being an architect, you can do a variety of things. You can be a designer, you can be a construction administrator, you can be a photographer. So we try to give them that feeling of, okay, being an architect is not hard.
Sure.
You just apply yourself, and then the sky's the limit.
I think that's a quote that anyone could put on their wall for sure. Ben McMillan, thank you so much for being here today.
All right, thank you.
Absolutely, and thank you for joining us.